Welcome back to episode 10 here at Purmotion. As you can see, I'm doing a Romanian deadlift with a triangle, but I'm not going to talk about the angle. I'm going to talk about the concept of strengthening the hip extensors to get stronger, the whole posterior chain, so we can jump higher, sprint faster, and do all these athletic things that we want to do. The issue that I am having a little of a dilemma is that, when it comes to symmetry or working, the agonist and antagonist muscles, when it comes to the hip joint, we have spent a lot of time worrying about, with good reason, strengthening the hip extensors, but we spend very little time in strengthening the hip flexors. It's almost like there is fear that the hip flexors are these weak muscles that all we can do is stretch it, with some kind of a roller, and you put it there and you just roll it to do all this myofascial release stuff and whatnot, or you actually, get on the floor and you stretch it and you feel the stretch. But you need to ask yourself why the hip flexors are so tight. Well, let me explain this by using this concept of training your agonist and antagonist. Think about when you do curls and tricep extension. Okay, you strengthen your bicep, and then you do the opposite movement of elbow extension, which is tricep extension, to strengthen both muscle group. Okay, so you strengthen the flexion component and the extension component, and there's no debate there. You even, perform horizontal push to get strong in that angle, in that line of resistance, but you also understand that you need to be strong also in that horizontal pull. So why is it that it's okay to strengthen your hip flexors? It's okay to strengthen your hip extensors, but it's almost a taboo to strengthen your hip flexors. What I like to ask coaches and fitness professionals, isn't it the hip flexors a group of muscles? Yes, of course it is. So strengthen it. That's how you solve this chronic tightness. We see this all the time, not only with young athletes, but even at Division One, we see a lot of hip tightness, and then they blame it on the sport. It's not the sport. It's just that there is an imbalance. It's an imbalance of too much strength of your hip extensors and not much of the hip flexors. That is the natural mechanism of your hip flexors telling you, I'm weak, and if I don't get tight, I'm going to split in half. So the idea then is to strengthen your hip flexors by selecting movement patterns or exercises that do just that, and then eliminate this tightness. Here at Purmotion, you have to come to believe it, okay? We do zero dynamic stretching or static stretches. You can name it whatever you want. We just don't do it because we have come to the realization that if you can strengthen your hip extensor, then you have to strengthen your hip flexors, okay? In order to develop that balanced strength, okay? And I'm sorry for those of you that think that deadlift, that in any variation, squatting, any variation, all you're doing is working the triple extension at the ankle, extension at the knee, extension at the hip. You are not strengthening your hip flexors, and that's why you develop so much tightness and have to spend extra time doing all these dynamic this, activating this, corrective that, where in reality it's not needed. I'm going to show you a loaded hip flexor movement with a pair of straps and using a cable machine But you can do this with, yeah, I mean, you can do it with bands if you choose. This is how we strengthen hip flexors to not only get them strong, obviously, but also eliminate any kind of tightness. Okay, so I'm using. Notice that I have a AirFit sling or Ultra sling, just something like this. But you can do you can use any strap, okay, that is out there. But make sure that there's no Velcro because it's going to come out. All right. So, and then you're going to need something higher to put your hands, like a bench. All right. So, what I did, I loaded the waist stack just to demonstrate you how strong your hip flexors can be. All right. Because we underestimate our hip flexors and how strong they really are. Okay. So what I do, or what we do here at Purmotion is, we instruct our clients to lean forward. Okay. Lean forward. And then from here, you're gonna have, I have my right foot on the ground, but I'm on the ball of my feet. I'm not on my heels. Okay. It's like I'm coming out of the block if I'm a sprinter. Now I'm gonna lean forward, lift the waist stack, and then from here, I check my right leg and create momentum to bring my left knee forward. See, I'm flexing my hip. Now, this is not how you start. You start with lower weight. But the beauty here is not only you strengthening your hip flexors, but you're loading your right leg, which is executing a triple extension motion with a hip flexion motion. Okay? Like so. I have like a triple flexion on my left and triple extension on my right. I promise you, in about 2 weeks, if you have any tightness or weakness in your hip flexor, by just adding this strengthening hip flexor movement, not only all these aches and pain will disappear, but you're going to get way stronger, and you're going to start achieving that balanced strength of your big butt and the little butt. Thank you for listening. We always put in content on our website, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just check us out. Any question, you can always email us at info@puremotion.net. Thanks.